Good morning and welcome to By the People. My name is Deborah Park. This holiday season is a good time not only to reflect on what we're grateful for, but also on what we can do to be the best person we can be, day in and day out. I'm not suggesting how we can get ahead, but rather how we can improve on our characters. That's why I'm pleased to welcome Suzanne McKinney and Peter Simon of the Character Council of Western New York. Thank you for coming on. This is a subject that's near and dear to my heart. And I know you agree, how we can make the world a better place by being better people.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having us. We're pleased to be here.
You know, this was something that started in your community in Hamburg, but has really spread throughout Western New York now. So tell me about the genesis of it. What made you say, I got to do something?
Well, you know, it was about 12 years ago or so. I was working actually with another organization called the Parent-Child Connection. And we were putting programs together that would help parents do a better job of parenting their children from many aspects, from nutrition to discipline to programs for parents with children with disabilities, all kinds of things. And we started to focus in on the thought of building character in children and what would that require. And we had a program one evening, and it inspired some of us so much that we decided we really needed to do more with this particular concept. And it grew into something that was a full year commitment for character building programming. And at the end of that time, we decided, you know, let's do something on a community-wide scale to make this come alive in a much bigger way. So we had a character building summit, gathered 400 people from our community of Hamburg to come together to brainstorm ideas about what could we do as a community-wide effort. And from that, you know, built a board of directors, and our mission and the organization itself was a Hamburg community project, just fueled by a bunch of individual citizens that were interested in this concept. What has happened, though, there were many people from outlying areas that were so interested in what we were trying to do that they began to say, well, you know, what are you doing and how are you doing it, and can we be a part of that? And it became apparent that we really needed to grow, to expand, to include the regional community. So now we have our Character Council of Western New York and providing programming and events and all kinds of things for the regional community.
And now, this is a volunteer effort.
Yes, it is.
You raised a family,
yes.
And Peter had a job, family, that kind of thing. And I know from being a volunteer, that consumes 150% of your time, and then you have your life. How did you get involved, Peter?
Well, I had gotten to know Suzanne. Our sons went to school together, and we went to baseball games and basketball games, and I found out what Suzanne was doing, and I thought, well, that's right up my alley, because I taught 6th grade for 33 years, and found out after my 2nd year of teaching that teaching character was more important than teaching math or English, which they would forget after a year. Teach them some character that would last them a lifetime and would do them more good. And then after I retired 8 years ago, I ran into Suzanne in the post office, and when she found out I'd been retired, her eyes lit up, and I knew without another word being spoken that
you weren't retired anymore.
That I was not retired anymore, and that I was joining her group, and I've been very happy with that. And we've come a long way since that point in time.
Let's talk about what character is. What is it? What is character?
Character is the individual qualities that you consistently display, no matter what the circumstances are. You know, a lot of folks will say, well, it's easy to have good character when everything is going along fine. It's more difficult to exhibit that character when things are more difficult, but that's really the more important time for those qualities to come forward.
So, truthfulness.
It's doing something when no one's looking. It's what you do when no one's looking. That's character.
Before we started taping the show, I was telling you about my dad, who's 82. He lives down in North Carolina, and from an early age, he would say to me, I want you to do the right thing. And we would talk through things. He would never tell me what to do, but he would ask me how I was problem solving. And he would say to me, I don't think you're there yet. I want you to think about this a little bit more. And then we'd talk about it again, and we would talk about it again. And he was a man who grew up in the Depression. His parents pulled him out of school in 11th grade. He went on to do very well for himself from a business perspective. But the biggest thing I got from him was doing the right thing, you know, was character. And that's what parents really have to instill in our students and in our children, and teachers work very hard at that too. It's a consistent type of thing. We all, as a community, have to put that into our children. And a lot of the ways we do that is by exhibiting that in ourselves, right?
Exactly.
I admire the approach that your dad used, not just telling you what to do, but having you involved in the thought process, because then you take ownership of it, and that's important, because kids ultimately will do what they decide to do, you know, once they're away from home. So involving you and saying, I don't think you're there yet, and making you think some more about it, I think that was a great idea.
And really, when working with children, working with 6th graders, when they're that young, they really think about themselves more, correct?
Sure.
I mean, it's a maturation process when you really start to think of others.
Well, they've been taught that since birth. You know,
right.
$100 Christmas toys, and they're the center of the universe, and it takes a while for them to begin to realize, I'm not the center of the universe, I'm just one small speck and one small part of the community in my classroom, the community in my neighborhood, and so on.
We have a video that I'll ask Rob to put up in just about a minute, but it focuses on what you did particularly with the students. But that's really where the genesis of this program began. And it's just so beautiful because of how you have changed some of these students. And you're right, a lot of them are attracted to the material things and parents, because we're so busy, we feel, well, we can't give them our time, so we'll give them something, and it's gotten a little bit out of control, so we have to stop ourselves. You know, what are the gifts that we can give our students? Our time, the lessons that they need to know, right?
Sure.
And it's very much about being an exemplar for children. This character focus is really encouraging people to look inward at themselves. You can't really change the character of someone else. You might be able to motivate and encourage and inspire them to look at their own character and work on themselves, but you can't, you know, mandate it, you know, for somebody. It's really about looking at yourself and changing who you are as a person, to emulate those character qualities to inspire others.
So you provided us with a video that, as a not-for-profit, someone helped you make, Mark Webster, I think it was, and we're going to ask Rob to run that for us.
In an era where ethics, morals, and good character have seemingly fallen by the wayside, replaced by situational ethics, form over substance, and a lack of absolutes, it's easy to be cynical about individuals and our society as a whole. But a growing group of Western New Yorkers are dedicated to reversing that trend with tangible results. The Character Council of Western New York is dedicated to fostering a renewal of those values and character traits which our founding fathers knew were crucial to America's long-term health and success. Originating in October 2000 as the Character Council of Hamburg, New York, the all-volunteer, not-for-profit organization is dedicated to creating a culture of character for the benefit of all Western New Yorkers. The meaning of the word culture is especially significant. It refers to the way a society chooses to raise its young, and the Council strives to facilitate an environment that nurtures the development of exceptional character at an early age by reinstating community standards of respect, integrity, and virtue. Schools and churches, businesses and government, civic groups, and the media are striving toward this common goal by initiating character-building programs within their areas of influence. Suzanne McKenney.
It's significant that we're striving to encourage character excellence among our citizens in the community. What kind of people will they be when they grow up to be older? What kind of interactions will they have with each other as family members, as business associates?
Understanding the goals of the Character Council and their importance begins with a better understanding of just what good character is. Chief components include moral and ethical strength, doing what is right at any cost, a life of consistent right conduct, and seeing the wise decision in every situation and using it. Beyond being laudable goals, adherence to those basic principles are proven keys to a fulfilling, successful life. Council Vice President Peter Simon is a retired educator who has seen firsthand the importance of emphasizing character values.
I spent 33 years teaching and learned early on that it was more important to teach character than it was to teach math, which they might forget by the year after. Teach character, teach virtues, and it's something that will follow them for the rest of their lives and keep them doing what we as adults in this world would hope that our children are going to do and follow in good footsteps.
As the council has grown, so has recognition of its efforts, including a Civic Empowerment Award from the Buffalo Niagara All-American City Committee. Though Suzanne McKenney concedes that character can be a tough sell in the 21st century, since it forces people and organizations to take a sometimes uncomfortable look inward. But she says it's proven well worth the effort.
We are who we say we are in terms of what we're trying to encourage for our community citizens, and it's a worthy pursuit for people to concern themselves with their own character from a personal perspective, but then also to concern themselves with character, good character for the people that they know and embrace it within their lives.
You may have already seen one of the council's products, monthly posters, each highlighting one positive character trait, such as diligence, loyalty, hospitality, enthusiasm, or humility, to name a few. The green and gold posters are displayed by participating businesses, schools, churches, and even municipalities, such as the town of Hamburg, where Stephen Walters is the supervisor.
Well, it's important because you always want to bring out the good character of the community, and all communities have that character. It's just a matter of really fostering that and bringing it out to the open, and not just bringing it out, but promoting it, because some people, you know, I think it's cool sometimes in some circles not to show good character, and this is showing that it can be cool to show good character too.
In today's society, where morality seems to be a bad word, I think we need to introduce vocabulary that is different from that. We need to talk about kindness, and we need to talk about openness and patience and love of neighbor. And I think that the Character Council, through its members and those whom they're influencing, has begun to do that.
Perhaps the Character Council's most visible efforts revolve around its annual Character Carnival and Conference. Nancy Maizano is the carnival coordinator.
Our first year, we were hoping for maybe just 200 people to show up. We had all the teachers on board. We had our team of Character Council board members with us, ready to open those doors, really not knowing what kind of turnout we'd have in participation. Well over 800 people showed up that day.
And it's just grown from there.
And it's grown from there.
The carnival has proven to be an excellent way to engage the Western New York community in character recognition and development, as schools team up to present activities which reinforce the message of choosing character excellence as a lifelong pursuit, all within a fun, family-friendly environment. Just after the carnival, the council also holds an annual conference entitled Creating a Culture of Character. The conference supports development of character excellence in all community sectors through expert speakers in fields such as education, business, law enforcement, athletics, and youth, all seeking to inspire attendees to nurture character initiatives in their spheres of influence. Other Character Council events have included a 5K run, bicycle races, and family movie days. The Council also features a program called Integrity in Action. Since 2009, the Council has given monthly public recognition of exceptional character traits exhibited by individuals and businesses throughout Western New York. Besides giving credit where it is due, public recognition of good character has shown positive spin-off in many areas, including the business world. Jonathan Cervoni.
We've seen that when you do that and when you recognize people for their character, you'll see an increase in productivity. You'll see an improvement in the way people do business and the value that they place on where they work.
In fact, the Character Council of Western New York is affiliated with the National Character First organization, founded in Oklahoma in 1992. Western New York is one of dozens of growing communities of character around the United States and the world. To get involved in helping to make Western New York an even stronger community of character, please contact the Character Council of Western New York. Our website is charactercouncilwny.org. Together, we can make a world of difference right here in Western New York.
We know that this is beginning to impact the lives of families. They're starting to talk about these virtues. They're starting to think about the meanings of what the words mean and how we actually can mold those into who we are as people.
Fabulous, fabulous video.
Thank you.
Very, very important topic. Now, one of the things that has emerged really, really greatly since you started is this bullying situation. And it's really exploded since you've retired from one career and started your second career. You want to talk about that, Peter?
Well, we had started thinking about anti-bullying about 2 years ago and thought we would have one program on it because we thought it was important. We have quite a few educators on our board. And then we had the unfortunate circumstance of a student committing suicide here in Buffalo, and that made it even more important.
Oh, Jamie Rodemeyer?
Yes. Sad as it was, it brought it more to the forefront where everyone was thinking about it. New York State coming out with a new law, the anti-bullying law, the Dignity for All situation, kind of led into, unfortunately, free publicity for our council being involved with all these things. So we did have one anti-bullying program last fall in October. We did another this past spring, and we just finished a third in November, November 1st, which was well attended.
It's unfortunate, though. You said that. It's unfortunate that you need to be in existence. It would be a great day when you can say we're not needed anymore, wouldn't it?
You know, it's very difficult to bully someone when you're a person of good character. And our emphasis is really on the more positive aspects of this. When you think about the anti-bullying message, it's more about don't do this, don't behave this way, we're not this kind of a school, we're not this kind of a person. The good character message is, but do behave this way, do mold these qualities into who you are as a person. It's more of a positive message, and I think it's the full complement to the anti-bullying message. So you need to have both the corrective, don't behave this way, but then do behave in this direction.
And in many ways, it's about the company you keep. I'm not trying to take us off topic, but watching television, people watch these competitive shows, and you can watch The X Factor where Simon Cowell belittles people, or you can watch The Voice, which is a singing competition where even when people are told you're not making it to the next level, they feel good about themselves, and they walk off and they feel good about what they've accomplished. And I watched that show because I'm not feeling sad.
Well, you know, unfortunately, bullying on TV gets laughs, whether it's in a family situation or you know, in a public situation like that, and kids think that's cool. And as a teacher, I would think as time went on that there'd be less bullying because families would be more civilized and they'd be training their children better. But bullying is not going away anytime soon because it's there, and we need to be more aggressive as to how we handle it.
And it moves into college, and it moves into the workplace. And so what started out in your organization as being something that was for school-age children, really out of necessity has become a community-wide endeavor, hasn't it?
Well, look at the armed services over the past few years with the hazing and so on. I mean, so we're talking adult situations too. It just doesn't go away.
You know, this is something that really is for all people. No one is perfect, and so therefore we can have room to improve. Each of us has strengths and each of us has weaknesses that we can try to strive to improve upon. And so when you look at this as a community-wide concern, it is not just for children. We are the exemplars for children. And so if adults are not behaving in ways that are redeeming and admirable, then how can we hope to teach the next generation about how they are supposed to behave? So it's really more of an adult issue than it is for children. In fact, when we embrace one character quality each month, and the language that we use are big vocabulary words that are not necessarily dumbed down for little children. This is a message that we want to come from adults teaching to children, not just with our words that we speak, but also by the behaviors that we behave with every day.
You have this beautiful little piece that, you know, if people had that in their purse and they're sitting around waiting instead of instead of doing what I do, which is checking my emails when I'm at the chiropractor or something, if I just sort of, and I will put this in my purse, looking at dependability versus, I can't see this because I'm over 50, dependability, determination, diligence, discernment. These are beautiful words: faith, flexibility, forgiveness.
And if you look at the definitions that we use to define each of those, they wouldn't be the standard dictionary definition.
Right.
It's really as though you put on a pair of character lenses and you were looking through that in order to understand what the word means. For example, the character quality of tolerance has to do with recognizing and understanding that everyone is at a different level of character development. So it's really not anything about the superficiality of who you are. It's really what's going on the inside. Where is your heart? What kind of person are you? What kind of person do you want to become? And maybe if there are some character qualities that you struggle with that aren't your strengths, you can, you know, seek to improve and make yourself a stronger person because you recognize that there's work to be done and strive in that direction.
Right.
The nice thing about that pocket folder is that when you tell a student, good job, that's soon forgotten. But if you tell a student, you did very well on this test because of the thoroughness of your studying and your diligence, those are words that they'll remember. And when you label students, they will live up to it. You know, if someone tells you you're a diligent person, you will remember that and you will try to prove that time after time after time, years later. And the nice thing about this is also that it's good for home, it's good for school, it's good for wherever you happen to be, without whatever group of people you happen to be. If you can recognize their good character and say something, pat them on the back, it'll be remembered. And that's basically what our council is about. Our mission is to recognize good character, not to point out bad character, but to recognize good character in any way that we can.
Right, and I think as people, we should always sort of, if you take a moment and reflect upon the day and say, I could have done this better. What did I learn from this? And just try to do better the next. You got to let it go. You know, understand where you could have been better, and then just make a commitment to yourself to do it better the next time. We are human. We do make mistakes.
Yes, we do.
Forgive yourself, forgive others. Right?
And you know, these character qualities are really the strong foundation that is underneath everything in your life.
Are these on your website?
Yes, they are.
Great.
Yes.
And your website is?
CharacterCouncilWNY.org.
Great. And we'll put that up again. I think this is a good time to talk about being a not-for-profit. You do this out of the goodness of your heart, both of you.
Sure.
Right. You thought you were going to retire. You know, your family thought you were retiring. Oh, maybe summer and winter in Florida. You know, the good life.
You know, this is important work that needs to be done for our society.
Right.
There is a need there, and this is something that I think that we all can rally around together. It doesn't matter what color your skin is. It doesn't matter what side of the political aisle you're on. It doesn't matter how old you are or what sex you are. It doesn't matter how much money,
you know,
your faith or your non-faith. Good character is for every person, and so it is a unifying concept. I think that really are universal principles that everybody can identify with. Who can argue against truthfulness or compassion or benevolence? These are things that we all can tap into together as a society, and I think that more attention directed in this way can be something that can uplift us and improve and make our country a better place to be.
And the world a better place to be.
Absolutely.
You know, I think it's a Buffalo thing too. I mean, Buffalo takes a rap, and even some of our citizens don't think very much of Buffalo. But you know, Buffalo is a blue-collar town. It's a can-do town, and I think character, the people that are getting involved in character, especially the volunteers and so on, are people that when they see something that they don't think is right, and they're going to stand up, roll up their sleeves, and do something about it. And we have a lot of people, and we're finding even more so as we go along. There are people here that are willing to work hard and make Buffalo one of the best communities in the country, like it used to be years ago.
Who are some of the people that work alongside of you? Who are some of the corporations and foundations who have been by your side and supported you?
You know, there's been a variety of...
Let's name names.
Buffalo Bills Alumni Association
Great, yes.
comes first to mind.
Great.
As a matter of fact, we're meeting Charlie Ferguson right after this.
After you tape this, right?
They've been very heavily involved with us. They've supported us with money for over the past few years.
No surprise, they're great supporters of community efforts.
They're one of the most developed alumni associations in the country. Other teams are coming to them to ask for help and so on. So they're one of the big ones.
You know, the John Kessler Foundation has supported us. The Voight Foundation has supported us. The Buffalo Sabres Foundation has supported us. We've had support from some corporations, Comdoc, Bailey Lumber. There's been a number of different organizations that have supported us over the years, and of course we're hoping to expand that and improve, because we are a community service organization. We exist to give back to the community, and that allows us to do more programming and forward this kind of an emphasis more readily throughout the Western New York region.
And we do want to say to our viewers that you don't have to be a foundation to give $5, $10, $25. Sure. Your funding, your volunteer time will really make a difference here. You can make a difference. If this is something of interest to you, I'm sure you'd love to meet them, have them work with you.
Oh, absolutely.
Help out in the community.
You know, we're a non-exclusive organization. You know, we take anybody. And
they took me.
Right, yes, they did. The character quality this month is gratefulness, and so we're grateful for the time and the talent, and certainly the donations that people make to us, because it allows us to do this important work.
And it's a nice time of year if, I know that I don't need a gift, so if my friends are watching, make a gift to them in honor of me. I would love that.
Thank you.
I don't need any more soap.
Thank you so much.
I don't need
That's
anything.
very generous of you.
But really, I mean, if you make a gift in my honor to them, I would be so grateful to you, because it's such a worthy cause. Really, it's wonderful what you've done. You know,
we were just really humbled and blessed that we can be a part of something like this that is so worthy for contributing in good ways to our society. So, it is our pleasure to do the kind of work that we do, and we appreciate the interest that you all have taken in inviting us to be here.
We only have like a minute and a half left. I know you have events coming up, so very quickly, let's talk about what's coming up next. We want people to go to the website. We want them to get involved. So what's happening next?
In the spring, we have a character carnival that is really more for elementary school age children and their families. That is part of a grander character week that we generally put on. We have 2 youth events for middle and high school age children or students that is called Champions for Change. Change is an acronym that stands for Character Has a Noble Goal, Excellence. We also have other conferences that will be going on for educators, for business folks. How do you integrate a character focus into your business?
Great, great. I've got to stop you though, because we're out of time. This is how fast the show goes. Peter, Simon, Suzanne McKinney, thank you so very much. And thank you all for watching. That's this edition of By the People. Be sure to go to the website and check it out. Make a donation, make a gift, and we'll see you next time on By the People. Goodbye, everybody.